Welcome into another episode of the Extra Yard here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. A few days late and $1 short. I was on a very long, expensive trip to Disney World with my family, so that's why we didn't have an episode on Monday because of that. But Troy, I guess it may be even better to do one on Friday because we've got a couple of new, very high profile, well, one especially Miami Dolphins players acquired at the deadline, and we're just a couple days removed from a big game against the Chicago Bears. Dolphins have a chance to get another victory here this Sunday against a team that they really should beat on the road. I am Alex Donno alongside former Miami Dolphin Troy Stradford. Troy, how are you?
I am well. You got any money left in your pocket after that trip to Orlando?
I don't. So honestly, and this would be a good opportunity to throw out there, and I do split these with Troy and with the network, but if anyone can spare some loose change in the super chat, like hit us up on the super chat, make a donation so I can pay down my credit cards after spending a week at Walt Disney World. The super chat is always open. It's by no means mandatory, of course. You guys can talk to us for free in the regular chat. Be like Gus. Hello, Gus. I hope you are doing well. Troy, I'm gonna test you a little bit on this episode because I know you've got that player's mentality. You don't like going beyond the next game, right?
No. Like, I can't tell you who the Dolphins play next week. Still, I can't do it.
Now, the reason why I'm saying I'm going to test you a little bit here is,
all right,
I want to have a big picture conversation because the Dolphins go out there and they have a huge trade deadline. They bring in Bradley Chubb from Denver, and they also sign him to a big extension, which I think people are making too much of how much money they're spending on him. For one thing, I always love how so many fans like try to tell billionaires how to spend their money, and they're all worried about the salary cap. Like, guys, like there's always ways around that when it comes to restructures and manipulation. Like, I'm not worrying. We got Bradley freaking Chubb. I'm not worried about the salary cap right now. That's number one. And they also get, Jeff Wilson at the expense of Chase Edmonds, which I'm kind of happy about because my dude just can't catch and which wasn't fitting in here. And Jeff Wilson, former San Francisco 49ers running back, he knows Mike McDaniel very well. So kind of like Raheem Mostert. He's not as good as Raheem Mostert, but it's a reunion a la Raheem Mostert with Mike McDaniel. And so the reason why I'm going to test Mr. 1 week at a time, Troy Stradford, is I want your take, Troy, on whether you think the Dolphins are really going all in to be a contender in the AFC this year.
Absolutely.
They don't lose games when Tua finishes games. They're making their pass rush even better. They're shoring up the running back unit. I believe the Dolphins are now a contender.
And you sound surprised.
I am surprised.
Am I surprised about the Miami Dolphins being a contender? I really don't think that far ahead. You just stated that. I found it interesting that Tua actually spoke on, hey, Super Bowl, this week when addressing the media. I thought that was kind of a little bit out of his comfort zone. I also saw him take shots at the media out of his comfort zone. And it just confirms to me the confidence, and it starts at the quarterback position, the confidence that this team has. And then you go upstairs to Greer, who has done an outstanding job, I've been critical of the last couple of years. And this is a team that I feel, Donald, they go into any game during that week, and I can't remember the last time, I'm talking a long time, where I sat there as a Dolphin fan and I said, they got to stop us. Like,
yes,
can we beat them? The Miami Dolphins, those players, those coaches, they know game plan, execution, talent on the field. They could be any team that they play on a Sunday, a Monday, a Thursday. They could win any single game. And the way that the Miami Dolphins have been playing, especially offensively, the defense is going to get there now. Now that Chubb is in there, and I got to be honest, I've never watched him play a game. I never paid attention to him. So I had to do a little.
Don't you worry.
I had to do a lot of reading on him
Yeah.
about what he brings to the table, and that just solidifies that defense. But back to the offense again, the pressure that the offense puts on, number one, the defensive coordinator, and then defensive teams, especially in the second half, after chasing that speed around all day long for 3 quarters, especially the Miami Dolphins, they are a team to be reckoned with. So
Yeah.
they're not going into ball games now questioning, can we win this game? They absolutely can win any game they play on any day.
Who do you consider still to this point to be like the top teams in the AFC that the Dolphins need to get by? Because for me, the big two obviously are
Correct.
Kansas City and Buffalo, right? Those are the
Correct.
big two, and I do take some comfort in the fact that the Dolphins did show they can beat Buffalo. I mean, it's one thing to beat them at home. It's another thing to beat them because they got to play them on the road in December. And then if you want to
Correct.
get to the Super Bowl, you're probably going to have to beat them on the road in January, right? So obviously it's not going to be easy, but the Dolphins have shown they are capable of beating Buffalo. If the Dolphins match up with Kansas City in the playoffs, the whole Tyreek Hill storyline will be interesting.
Oh, he's gonna
But
kill him.
oh my God. Yeah, right. He'll probably catch for 250 in that game.
He'll be like this. Peace. See you later. Absolutely. I would throw the Baltimore Ravens in that mix also. I think the Baltimore Ravens
Yeah.
with Lamar Jackson, I mean, that's just something you have no idea whatsoever what this kid is going to do on the football field any given day. And so they scare the heck out of me. Yes, they're not complete on defense where they're just shutting people down and it's all about Lamar Jackson. But that's the third team that I would put in there. But again, Donald, it's the NFL. And so any game that you play, you have a chance to lose. But I'll go back to what I've been saying. The Miami Dolphins, they know as a collective group that they have an opportunity to win every game that they play in. And that's a luxury that a lot of people do not have.
Tua Tagovailoa is putting up just stupid stats this year.
You on board yet? Are you on board yet?
I have no choice to be on board. The problem is,
Okay.
like, I want to be on board, but they won't let me on board because, the Tua fanboys.
They shouldn't.
No, you're right. But that's the thing. It's like I feel like a man without a country because, like, I want to be on board, but they kept the receipts, Troy. They saw the nasty things that I tweeted about him last year and then early this season. And I've always rooted for the guy. Like, I hope people understand that. If you don't want to let me on the Tua bandwagon, that's fine. I'll buy Tyreek Hill jerseys and Jalen Waddle jerseys. I won't buy Tua jerseys.
Okay. This is my take, right? I'm giving anyone out there who's been a Tua hater, negative guy when it comes to his game, and I will say I was not a fan of Tua's play early on, but I realized once I saw Tyreek Hill, I said, "Oh, this is going to be like special."
Yeah.
It's all about the talent around him. We put so much pressure on the quarterback, but it is a collective group that needs to get the thing done. So I'm giving all of those people out there, okay, one more week only. I don't care who we play. I don't care where the defense is ranked. I don't care that we didn't score any points in the second half. I don't care about any of the excuses I've been hearing on a daily basis from anti-Dolphin fans, from anti-Tua fans. I don't want to hear the excuses anymore. You have 1 week to get on board. And if you don't get on board this week, don't buy playoff tickets when we are there. Don't come on the bandwagon in December after we beat Buffalo in Buffalo. Do not do it. You got this week and this week only, and I'm done.
I think that's incredibly fair. And I'm going to take you up on that offer. I am going
All
to.
right.
And yeah, I fully apologize to Tua because and he's such a sweet guy, Troy. Like you mentioned him like taking a little jab at the media, but when I was watching that clip, he's so polite about it. He's like, "Oh, how about that deep ball?" He's like, I don't mean to jab. It's a little bit of a backhanded jab, whatever he said. I'm paraphrasing it, but like even when he takes shots at the media, he's really sweet about it. Like Yeah, I root for him and I want him to succeed, especially coming off the adversity from the concussion that he had a few weeks ago. I really want him to succeed with that. And he's near the top of the NFL or at the top of the NFL in about every passing category this year, including the deep ball. And you look at the numbers that he put up against Detroit, and this wasn't even his best statistical game. 29 for 36, 382 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 INTs. The receiving numbers are absolutely stupid, with Tyreek Hill, 12 catches for 188 yards. Jalen Waddle, 8 for 106 and 2 touchdowns. These are video game numbers, Troy.
The numbers that they are posting, all three of them, is absolutely insane. Now, the game of football has changed, right? It's more passing. The game is more wide open. You can't take shots on receivers and quarterbacks like you used to. But that's what we have, and that's what football is nowadays. And I have, over the last couple of weeks, last month, I've spoken to Duper, I've spoken to Clayton, and one of the first things out of their mouths is like 9 catches, 10 catches. They was like, I was lucky to get like 4 targets in the game. They are so like, I'm not sitting there saying jealous or upset, but they're just looking at the game themselves and they're saying, this is absolutely incredible what these guys are doing, getting 9 catches, 12 targets, 10 catches, 13 targets. It's just insane. And again, I'll go back to, as an offensive unit, the Miami Dolphins will force you as a defensive unit to make mistakes. You cannot play perfectly all game long. You just can't do it. It's the game of football. It's sports. And I don't care which sport you want to talk about, what sport you want to throw in there. It's like offensive teams playing football. They talk about a 10-play, 11-play, a 12-play drive. Sooner or later, that offensive lineman is going to jump. That's going to get you a penalty and may kill a drive. When you have to play for an extended period of time, when your defense is on the field for a 12-play drive, it wears them out. It forces them to make mistakes. It forces them to be a step or two slower. And that's what I'm seeing when I see this Miami Dolphins team. Okay, you want to hang around with them in the first quarter? Okay, that's fine. But can you guard them in the third quarter? Can you guard them in the fourth quarter? And now they're getting a feel, offensive play calling, of what's working and not working. We're often talking about making adjustments at halftime, right?
Yes.
Adjustments truly take place at halftime. Okay, we came in here with these 7 plays that we really like. Well, 3 of them are not working. So we're not calling those 3 plays in the second half. We're going to focus on where we have had success in the first half. And I see the Miami Dolphins actually doing that. We could talk about the Tua pass, the touchdown pass to Gesicki, right?
Oh, my goodness.
It was big talk from McDaniel after the game, from Tua after the game, talking about how it was his fourth read, right? What I got out of that is coach was sitting there saying, we had this play drawn up, which we haven't missed yet. He's sitting there. I'm like, really? Like, he called that play knowing full well this guy's going to be open. And he was probably talking about number 1 guy. Or this guy is going to be open, the number 2 guy. But no, they were not available. He went to number 3. He went to number 4. That is based on good protection. Offensive line did a good job giving him protection. And Tua is able to go methodically across the field and find his tight end open there for a touchdown. And that just says a lot about me. Like I was saying earlier in the season, how when the Miami Dolphins, they've shown us that they could win in different forms and fashions. Mm-hmm. Now I'm hearing even different talk like, okay, we knew this play was going to win. Like, when was the last time we heard that? We knew this play was going to win. And okay, you knew that play was going to win. You knew you were going to connect on that play. and the first two options are taken away, but yet you can still go to the third option or the fourth option. That's pretty special. A lot of teams don't have that.
Yeah, I want to talk more about the new additions to the Dolphins. Oh, and by the way, in about 4 minutes, we're going to be joined by Lee Sterling from ParamountSports.com. He's going to help us win some money this weekend. He'll help us break down Dolphins 4.5-point favorites at the Chicago Bears, what we should play, over, under, any props we should look at. But yeah, I mean, two additions. And I know Chubb is the one who takes most of the headlines, and rightfully so. But I'm glad Alfredo brings up Jeff Wilson, the newest Dolphins running back. Nearly 500 yards and 5.1 yards per carry in the same system. A stroke of genius.
5.1 yards per carry. That's not a slouch. Like,
not at all.
That's production right there at the running back position. And I really, to be honest, I think that the Miami Dolphins passing game is better than the San Francisco's passing game right now.
Oh, for sure. Yes.
Now, right? And
yes.
You could question throughout the season, okay, how come the Miami Dolphins running game hasn't been more productive than what it has been, given that the passing game is putting so much pressure on these defensive players and they're sitting back a little bit. So it'd be nice to see what the young fella could bring to the table if he could keep those numbers that he had in San Francisco and produce down here with the Miami Dolphins. I think the best thing is that he has already played in the system. Yeah. He's comfortable with it, so it's plug and play. You know, I just think it's good all around for the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, when he's been on the field, he's been great. And, you know, hopefully he stays healthy. He's going to get a lot of opportunities here. And to what Alfredo's saying, same system. And, you know, his old offensive coordinator is the Dolphins head coach. I mean, we see the way Raheem Mostert has worked out, right? And so you would figure Jeff Wilson can work out in a big way as well. You know, on the Bradley Chubb edition, you know, the Dolphins acquired him. And then a couple of days later, they agreed to the big extension. Like, we knew an extension was coming. That's, you know, I'm sure that was part of the conversation to acquire him in the first place. You know, Adam Schefter tweeted out yesterday that they agreed to a 5-year extension, which will pay Chubb $119 million with $63.2 million guaranteed, which is the real money, the guaranteed money. Including his 5th-year option. Yeah, life is very good. His $22 million average annual value puts him 6th at his position. So it's not like he becomes the top paid guy. He's 6th at his position. And, you know, I said what I said earlier about fans don't need to stress this much about the salary cap, because there's always ways to work around it with restructures. But then the other thing about it is, Troy, I mean, okay, if the Dolphins were in a situation where they were so far away from being a contender, then you can question bringing in an expensive piece like this. But
you wouldn't have made that move.
Right. I mean, honestly, like, I look at this team and I get it that on paper you would still favor teams like Buffalo and Kansas City for sure over the Dolphins. On paper anyway, you would favor them over the Dolphins. But you look at what the Dolphins now have with their passing game. You look at, you know, the job that Josh Boyer is doing with that defense, and now you add an elite piece to the pass rush, because you knew you had to either get another elite pass rusher or, you know, an elite lockdown corner. They ended up getting the pass rusher, which is going to make life easier now for the corners. I would imagine. Correct. Like, this is a defense that can contend. It's an offense that can contend. I see nothing wrong with going all in, right? I see nothing wrong with going all. I mean, you've got a player like Tyreek Hill on your team right now, and an ascending Tua, an ascending Jalen Waddle, an ascending defense. Why not go out there and get a great player who might be able to help make you a true contender in this league?
Let's give credit to Greer, right? He is masterfully taken over the last couple of years draft picks and turned them into proven veteran leadership that's going to come to this team, guys that could play. And so, yes, when I look at the Miami Dolphins going out, I was in the same boat as you. They needed another cornerback because they've been devastated in the secondary when it comes to injuries. Yeah. Or you get pressure up front. I like the pressure up front. You know, I thought the key to this defense coming into the season was the secondary. I'm like, they could shut people down, but everyone is not available back there. So now, all of a sudden, just what you said, they could get pressure now without, you know, smoke and mirrors, coming with blitzes. They should be able to get pressure with their standard front four guys And that's going to work wonders for that secondary. They don't have to cover as longer. It's good all around. And I don't care about the money. They pay people.
Right.
They pay people to work for the Miami Dolphins to figure out the money situation. I don't worry about
Absolutely. And now here's a man who will help us make some money, so you don't have to worry about the money. Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com, does an awesome job. His website is great. Lee, I love how you're wearing the old school Dolphins logo, so you must be excited about this Chubb deal.
Yeah. So I remember Troy playing at Boston College, doing a number on my Canes. Playing for the Dolphins.
I used to kill the Canes. Lee, just for the record, never under 100 playing against the Canes. I mean,
really?
Syracuse. Yeah. Never.
Well,
I used to lick my chops like when I saw Syracuse on the schedule.
Yeah, your team you still needed that miracle Hail Mary to win the game. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So actually, Troy, my family, original 1966 season ticket holders. I was born in 62. I saw every single game, home game, until I went off to college. So
that is incredible, man.
I remember Flipper in the end zone.
I remember Flipper.
So,
Lee, my story is I'm I think like 10, 11 years old, and I take a liking to football.
Right.
And I'm up in New Jersey, and I'm in the living room, and I'm watching this game, and they're playing the Jets. Mm-hmm. So I got the Jets game up there, and they're playing in Miami, and it's like November, freezing cold up north, right? Yeah. And this game comes on, and I go, oh my God. I'm like, look how hot it is. Look how sunny it is down there. And I said, they got a dolphin in the end zone? They got palm trees? I said, I like that team right there. And I became a Dolphin fan right then and there.
That's great. That's great.
That is fantastic. And Lee, as far as your full season outlook before we get into the Bears game this coming weekend, you look at the Chubb deal and the Jeff Wilson deals. Does this kind of change the way you project the Miami Dolphins for the rest of the year? How much does it change it?
Oh, a lot. I mean, they went from, I think, being a borderline playoff team to possibly being behind Buffalo and Kansas City. I think Buffalo and Kansas City might be the best two teams in the NFL. Philadelphia, not far behind.
Yeah.
I think San Francisco has the potential to be very good. But, anything can happen. We see it a lot of times in baseball, and we've seen wild cards teams win. We've seen wild cards team win even in the Super Bowl. The Raiders one, it's been a couple. So all you got to do is get there, and anything can happen. So I think the biggest problem for the last 20 years for the Dolphins was not that they weren't great. There was no hope. If you don't have hope and you don't have at least give me some excitement, at least when Dan was there, they had, you felt you had a chance in every game.
You had a chance.
You had a chance. And there hasn't been that until the last year and a half, 2 years. So excited.
So someone says they should bring Flipper back. I'm pretty sure PETA would be all over that, right? Because it's like, seriously, because they're even upset about like the Dolphins at like Seaquarium that have a huge space to go around in. So there's no way they'd let them bring Flipper.
How do they say they're underweight? How do you weigh a dolphin? Are they really taking dolphins out of the tank and weighing them? I mean, that's crazy.
I would think, if anything, like I'm not necessarily saying that they like living in captivity better, but as far as the whole weight thing goes, like at least they're getting fed regularly, right? They don't. I would love it. Like if I were a dolphin, I wouldn't want to have to hunt for my own food. I'd love for some trainer just to drop a fish in my mouth. That's
and they say they like the human activity, interaction. Yeah. So you imagine, once every 2 weeks, okay, we're gonna go to the dolphin game. We're gonna put you in a tank. When the ball gets kicked into your little your little aquarium or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
you throw it out, and we'll give you some fish for it.
That's hilarious. So
Yeah.
looking at the game this
Yeah.
weekend, Lee, Dolphins are at the Chicago Bears, 4.5-point road favorites, over under of 45.5 points. Give us your take on this game, a bit what you expect from the Bears, and do you think the Dolphins cover?
I think the Bears are going to come to play. The problem with the Bears is a couple of weeks ago, they had a great game plan against New England. Get the ball out of Justin Fields' hand quickly. When he has a clean pocket, believe it or not, he's top 3 quarterback in the NFL. When he doesn't, bottom 2. So I think we're going to get more of a rush on him, but I think they're going to play hard and well. Just you never know what you're going to get from the Bears. It looks like the weather clear, low 60s and sunny, probably like a 15-mile-an-hour wind. I think that helps perfect. Miami. Perfect for Miami. I mean, in November. But I have a feeling the public is going to bet the over. I'm going to give you the best wager here. Play under here. I think we're going to see 24-20, 24-17 by one team. I'm not going to play the game. I'm just going to play the under. I think both defenses are going to come to play. Maybe a couple turnovers come into play here. When the number's that low with Miami, they're telling you something going on here. So because of the weather, I think the public's going to play the over. Defenses have come to play in the NFL more than previous couple of years. Let's go under in that game.
And I noticed that on the weather. Like I was on with Joe Rose yesterday, and like during one of the commercial breaks, he was saying something about the weather. I pull it up on my phone, and I'm like, 62 degrees, clear skies. That doesn't sound so bad to me.
No.
So it sounds like good weather for a passing game. Lee Sterling is with us. ParamountSports.com is his website. He doesn't pay us to come on. We don't pay him to come on. Let us know, Lee, anything else you're looking at this weekend, whether it be college, NFL, fights, anything you like.
Okay, so let's look at the Miami game. I'm not going to give you a selection now. I'm going to do it based on whether Tyler Van Dyke starts or not.
Yeah.
5 minutes to go before the game, 10 minutes, I think we're going to know whether he's going or not.
Yeah.
I'll take a shot on Miami if he starts. Miami has not covered a spread this year. The only Division I team that has not covered a point spread against Division I opponents. I mean, they played one decent half, not even a great half or a good half, one decent half against Southern Miss. I think they'll get up for their arch rival. Florida State is balanced. I think they ran on Clemson.
They did.
But we've seen some times in the early 90s, I don't know if you guys remember this, some not great Miami teams. They went out, they played some teams in Florida State that were much more talented than them, and they ran the football. I think running the football, the offensive line, it's about effort, it's about emotion, and also defense, flying to the ball. I think we're going to see a great effort by Miami. If Tyler Van Dyke starts the game, I'm taking him plus 7.5. If not, no bet. Could get ugly.
I agree. It could. Well, yeah, and you're right. The Van Dyke thing is huge, and you're right not to play it until we know. But man, it's like you would never know from these Florida State fans that they've missed a bowl game for like almost half a decade. Because I talked to a lot of these Florida State fans throughout the weekly, and I did a guest spot on Locked On Seminoles last night, and like they're acting like they're already celebrating a blowout win, and I'm like, hey, let's not get crazy here, guys. Right. It's like obviously I sound biased because I'm the Miami guy, but have you guys learned nothing from this rivalry? That you're already talking about this like it's done and dusted, a blowout. So I'm with you on that one. Anything else you like this weekend?
Yeah. So let's look at the NFL. Let's look at a game, Detroit and Green Bay. Sometimes you got to look at the psyche of a team. And Green Bay's more talented than Detroit. But I think them not going out and getting a receiver is a big difference maker. I think they realize now they can't compete. And Detroit, they picked the defensive backfield coach as the fall guy. Someone had to take the fall. Once you get a certain point in the season after you've been coaching with the same coaching staff, you're not seeing results. They're going to be without a couple guys here. They're going to be without, we know for sure that there's no Randall Cobb. Good chance Christian Watson doesn't play, and also Alan Lazard. Detroit, you saw what they did in the first half against the Dolphins.
Yes.
They'll be up here, division opponent here, at home. They've got weapons. Swift, one of the best running backs, top 8-10 in the NFL. I think their receiving core, even though they traded their tight end to Minnesota, it's all about scoring points. And I think they can score enough points and get some stops here. I'm going to call for the outright upset. I like Detroit to beat Green Bay outright, 27-20. And in college football, we're going to go with Air Force. Early game, 11:30 start. So they play for the Commanders-in-Chief trophy. Air Force hasn't won it in like 8 years now. They've lost 3 straight times to Army. I think they've had the better team at least in 2 of those 3 games. They already beat Navy. I thought they were a team that actually had a shot, not a great shot, but a shot of going undefeated. They're the number 1 rushing offense in the country. Well, people say, oh, Army's number 2, but Air Force can actually throw the football. They allow 2 yards less per carry. Their defense does in Army. The game's being played in Arlington. The line is 7. Buy this line down to 6.5. I think Army, it's not a high total, it's 40. I think Air Force wins the game, something like 23-7.
I love it. Make sure you check out his website, ParamountSports.com. Can I ask you, Lee, for a real quick opinion on a couple of player props before we let you run? Because I'm looking at our Prize Picks numbers for this week. What do you think about Tua Tagovailoa over or under 265.5 passing yards this week?
I'll go under.
Okay. What about
I think Chicago's going to try to control the ball. I think they're going to. If I was a coach and I didn't want to go into coaching because I didn't want to spend 15, 20 years coaching in Idaho, starting in junior college ball and moving all around. If you are a coach and the other team is more talented, the first thing I try to do, shorten the game. You don't want to allow Miami to have 14, 15 possessions. You want it to be 8 or 9 possessions. I think they're going to take their time. They got 2 good running backs. I think they're going to run the football. And if it's 8 or 9 possessions, makes it tougher for him to get into 275 to 300 yard passing range here. And that's why I like the under here. Sometimes you got to think about the pace of the game and how many plays will take place. So we'll go under there with 2 passing yards.
This one's kind of a tough one to me, this number being where it's at. What about Justin Fields over or under 165.5? That's a tough one, right? I don't know what to do with that.
I'll lay it off.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
Fair.
I think the last couple of days I went back to look at Justin Fields. I think that I could be wrong, but I think he has only passed for over 200 yards once this season.
Yeah.
He gets a lot of it done running the football. He's had 60-plus yards rushing, 80-plus yards rushing, but he has only been passing-wise over the 200-yard mark, I believe, one time, if I'm correct.
Yeah,
if I remember
I think you're correct, Troy. That's a good point. The only thing is Miami's not one of these teams where guys just fly all over the place and are undisciplined. Very rarely. Look at Lamar Jackson. He didn't run much against Miami. They do stay in their lanes. Another thing, a pet peeve, when you got a quarterback that runs the football, like Justin Fields, and Miami did a good job against Josh Allen. Stay in your lane. Sometimes one of the most important things to do is, I always see these defensive linemen, they jump up as soon as the quarterback raises his hands. Well, it's more important sometimes just to stay in your lane. Yeah. If he doesn't throw the football, you're probably going to be able to get the sack or tackle him, a couple yards within the line of scrimmage. So discipline, very important. And I think the Dolphins I don't know what the total is as far as rushing yards. You have it at your disposal, Alex, his rushing yards?
Yeah. I just got to pull up a different page on that. Let me see. Rushing yards. I'm like the least inefficient person on this app ever, but the Prize Pick app is awesome. All right. So, all right. Who do you want for rushing yards? We got David Montgomery.
No. We want Justin Fields.
Justin Fields. Sorry. 49.5.
I would go under there.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. I'm going to take you up on. I'm going to play that one.
Okay. Okay.
I'm going to play that one right there. All right.
All right.
All right, excellent.
I got to be honest. I've been playing that prize pick, and the games I've been losing are the ones I pick over, and it's always the under. So I like
Troy,
I like
and
what you
anything
said.
else. Totals on player props and games. I mean, there's been a couple years where the scoring's been off the charts, but Vegas, they know they trust.
They know.
They end up, even if their scoring starts, then they'll start putting the number higher. Vegas, all those hotels weren't built on allowing people to win. The average person, they play overs, they play favorites, teams, they play the Steelers, they play the Raiders, they play the 49ers, they play the Dolphins, they play the Patriots now the last 20 years. Yep. So they're not going to play the Detroit Lions this week. They play the Packers. Right. This line should probably, believe it or not, be Green Bay minus 2.5 to 3. The teams that are on top 4 or 5 teams in college football rankings, you're going to pay an extra price to play Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State every week. So do they cover a lot? Yeah, probably 53, 55% of the time. But eventually that number gets up there and wham, they lose 2 or 3 in a row.
Awesome. That's good information you give me. Can I ask you one real quickly?
Sure.
The college game of the week.
Of the year, maybe.
Georgia, probably the year. Georgia and Tennessee.
All right. So in this game, the public, 81% of the public has bet Tennessee.
Ooh.
62% of the money, though, a lot of sharp money being bet on Georgia.
That's a good indicator.
I think the public, because they haven't watched a lot of Georgia games since the Oregon game, first game of the year. So they watched Tennessee. Yes. All right. They watched the Alabama game, probably watched the first 3 quarters of the Kentucky game. And Tennessee's offense, incredible. Number 1 in the country.
Yes.
Georgia, last year, number 1, this year, number 4. I think they've been game planning for this game for the last couple of weeks. It's not a 5 or 7 game series, 1 game. Yeah. I still think Tennessee is going to score some, but not 40, 50 points on this Georgia defense. And Georgia has a different type of offense, even than Alabama that scored 49 on them. In Kentucky, they use their tight ends. They have a kid, Bowers, that's going to be a top 10, top 15 pick tight end. They have 2 other guys behind him be playing in the NFL, top 2-3 round picks. So different type of offense, power running, throw to their tight ends, throw to their backs out of the backfield. You would like that, throwing to the backs out of the backfield.
Absolutely.
They got a kid, number 6. Watch him for Georgia. He catches the ball real well out of the backfield. He's actually a little bit bigger than you were, too. So when he catches the ball, sometimes he runs around guys. Sometimes he'll just plow over them. I think Georgia's the right side here. Tennessee's defense ranked 82nd in the country. You know, when you were playing, your weakest link
right there
usually gets exposed here. I think Tennessee cracks here. I like Georgia 48-34 over Tennessee.
Nice.
Lee Sterling, let people know what they can find this week at ParamountSports.com.
Let's go to the website. We won 10 out of 12 weeks. Everything is documented. Wow. You go to the website under recent results. Every game we've given our clients for the last 5 years is listed there. We had our game of the year in the NFL last week. We had a winner on the New England Patriots. Got my college football game of the year going this Saturday. I'm going to text it to you, Alex, as soon as it starts Saturday. Feel free to tweet it out. You can get the entire month of November. Well, we don't call it November. We call it Dovember here.
Yeah.
$297. And there's games every single day of the month because of MACtion. Got MAC games going on every Tuesday and Wednesday now. $297 for November. Just one place, ParamountSports.com.
I love it. Lee Sterling, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day and have a great weekend.
Good talking to you, Troy. Take care. See you,
Alex. See you, man.
He is the man. I love Lee Sterling.
That was great.
Yeah, and we went over a couple of those numbers. Guys, make sure you are signing up at prizepicks.com It's fully legal in Florida, by the way, which means, no barriers. It's not an offshore operation. You just go to prizepicks.com or the PrizePicks mobile app. I use the mobile app because it's super easy. Free app in the Apple Store, the Google Play Store, wherever you get your apps. Create your account in minutes, deposit money in minutes, and you're making your selections in seconds, Troy. I mean, you can speak to how fast this is. Like sometimes, and maybe sometimes I should think about them a little bit more, but I do mine sometimes in 20 seconds.
I do a little more thinking in 20 seconds.
I'll just look at a number. I'm like, well, of course, Tua's going to go over today. Smash that. Waddle's going to go over. Sometimes I make them real quick.
I've been doing all right on the site. I got to be honest, and I will be on it tonight. I'll be making my picks right after this show is done.
I love that. Yeah. So all you do, guys, is you select a player, and you can do rushing yards, passing yards, receiving yards, different categories for each. Just predict if they're going to go over or under their stat projections, and you make 2 to 5 selections, and you're making back real money, right? You select 2 to 5. Yeah, I think that's what we're learning. Sometimes you got to go under. And guys, make sure that when you sign up at prizepicks.com or the PrizePicks mobile app, don't miss the opportunity to use our code, because they're going to double your deposit. So why would you miss out on that? You use our code 5. It's FIVE. Use our code 5, and they're going to double your first deposit up to $100. You deposit $100, they give you $100 free. And trust us on this. Troy's having fun. I'm having fun. Obviously winning is better, but even when you lose, it's kind of fun. But we try to win more than we lose.
Stay within your means, right? Have fun with it. A little bit of extra cash. You put $20 on the game, and now all of a sudden you're watching the game at a different level, and you're sitting there saying, I'm truly enjoying it and having fun with it, because the whole favorite by 3, favorite by 5, 7, whatever. I was a little wishy-washy when it comes to that, but I love picking individual players. Jimmy Butler tonight, I'm guessing he's around 23 points tonight.
Probably right.
I'm sitting there saying, all right, I got to go play on Jimmy Butler tonight.
I mean, it's basically, it's like fantasy on steroids, right? It's like, I like this better than the traditional daily fantasy. And then if you do have a fantasy team that stinks, right, this gives you an opportunity to make some cash on, same here, opportunity to make some cash on game night. So make sure you sign up, prizepicks.com or the PrizePicks mobile app with our code FIVE. PrizePicks truly is daily fantasy simplified. Ooh, well, I got to run in a minute, Troy, because I'm doing a double header. I'm going to be over on Locked On Canes YouTube in a moment, because I'm sweating this out, Troy. FSU, Miami. Who does Boston College have this week? I know you got somebody in the ACC.
I don't care right now.
So you checked out?
I am so disappointed in what's going on at Boston College.
I think they have Wake Forest, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm going to verify that.
That's going to be another loss if it's Wake Forest. Boston College does not look like Boston College. Usually they have strong offensive line, defensive line. You don't see that.
They got Duke. They got Duke. They got Duke this week, which is still probably a loss. Duke's not loss, terrible,
right? Yeah, not great quarterback play. So, I could watch them or not watch them. If it's on, okay, bonus, but I won't be locked in. Hate to say it, but yeah.
So
it is what it is.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get the feeling. I talked to Miami fans who feel that way. So hopefully Miami can get a big win against Florida State. Huge shout out and thank you to Troy. Huge shout out and thank you for everybody who took time out of your day to watch this. Make sure you smash that like button and subscribe here to 5 Reasons Sports on YouTube. We're going to be back to our normal Monday this week. I'm not going on any lavish vacations. Yeah, let's do Monday at 3 this week. I'm not going back to Disney World. I'm broke for right now. So expensive. Oh, it's like,
I'm so glad I don't have a 4, 5, 6-year-old. Well, I would have to go up there and spend a bunch of money.
It's like $23 for a cheeseburger. It's crazy.
Huh?
Yeah, depending on where you go. Yeah,
like patty with like cheese on it.
I mean, they'll give you fries
and
too.
A bun?
Yeah, and fries, but yeah.
Oh, they throw.
They'll throw some fries. The fries are not that good either. They're not $23 fries, I'll tell you that.
But the kid had fun.
Oh, he had a blast. He didn't
There you
understand
go.
why we had to come home. I'm like, oh, this is right. The Powerball, I think, is up to a record number. So this is going to solve all my problems. I'm going to spend $1,000 worth of Powerball tickets, and I'm going to get out of debt this way.
Donald,
Great idea.
I don't want to win. I'm playing it, but I don't want to win it.
What do you mean you don't want to win it?
I'm afraid of what will happen.
Well, so why are you playing it then if you're that afraid?
Because I play the numbers, because I play prize picks.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
I got a little bit of gambling in my blood.
So you're telling me you would rather win a 5-play prize pick selection than win the Powerball?
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Now that's an endorsement for prize picks right there.
Yeah, you get, the other day I won like $600, right? Give me that.
Wow, that's really good. Well, because at least if you win the Powerball, you end up on the news, right? Whereas if you win a 5-pick prize pick selection, you don't end up on the news for that.
No one knows.
Actually,
when it comes to the Powerball, I want to hit 5 numbers, but not the Powerball.
Oh,
so I'll win $1 million or 2 if I double it, and I'm cool. You guys wouldn't know about that.
Yeah. See, I'm one of these people who I'm like, I'm the type where like I'm not enticed to play it unless it's in the billions. I'm like, $5 million, like come on.
Your chances go down when it gets up there. You know that, right? Okay.
I know. I'm not a regular lottery guy. I only play when I see it on the news, like, oh, this is a record jackpot. Like, all right, let's do it this time. That's the only time I play.
Confession: I play the number every day. I'm just a numbers guy.
So eventually it's going to hit.
Yeah. So I'm a play 4 guy.
Yeah.
I played a play 4. I hit it twice this year for $10,000 each. Hey, not bad.
Better than
See,
me.
I'll take that over the whole one. I don't want that.
Man.
I'm afraid I wouldn't be around too long.
That's a great point. I would just I would spend it all on like a one-night bender, and then that's all she wrote. Yeah.
You wouldn't be around.
I would not be around. Great stuff as always. So we'll be back with you Monday to review another Miami Dolphins victory here on the Extra Yard, part of the 5 Reasons Sports Network. And be sure you subscribe to 3 Yards Per Carry, their podcast feed, because they're nice enough to put our audio on that feed. So check them out as well. Alfredo and the guys do an awesome job. We'll talk to you Monday here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. See ya.
You got it. Peace.